They hired me because of my record, decades of flawless service commendations, and no mistakes. They did not care who I was, where I came from, or why I agreed to take a contract halfway around the world. They only called me security, and that was enough. The compound sat on the edge of nowhere, surrounded by a forest so thick I could not see the stars. A single lamp lit the driveway where my vehicle sat. I parked beneath it, pulled my jacket tight, checked my issued sidearm, and headed inside. The corridors were narrow, doors labeled only with letters and numbers. My orders were simple: patrol the perimeter, check the cameras, and report any anomalies. At first, I tried to tell myself it was nerves, but at 2:13 in the morning, I knew something was wrong. The cameras in Sector C went dark for exactly 20 seconds, and then they came back on with nothing to explain why. I walked to the far corner of the fence, lifted my radio, and checked in. When I turned back, I heard a snap from the woods. My breath caught. I sensed something watching me, eyes that were not human eyes. I aimed my flashlight toward the trees, but all I saw was shifting shadows. I whispered to whoever might be out there to show itself. Silence. Then I heard a distant, unsteady breathing, like something exhaling too close. My pulse pounded as I realized these were not trained saboteurs or terrorists. I had never been trained for this. A moment later, shapes burst from the forest, grotesque silhouettes with elongated limbs slipping between the trees. They stopped just beyond the fence, almost impossibly still. Their eyes glowed faint blue, reflecting the beam. I felt frozen in fear. One rubbed its claw against a wooden post, making a disturbing metallic scrape. Heart hammering, I reached for my radio, but no words came out, only a rasp. I tried to switch to the emergency channel. The creatures vanished as if they had never been there. At the same moment, the floodlights around the compound clicked off, plunging everything into darkness. I sprinted inside to the control room where the monitors flickered static. I slammed a fist against the console and ordered the power back on. Nothing happened. Then a single screen lit up, showing an infrared image of one creature standing at the fence. My grip tightened on my pistol. I would not leave until I knew what I was dealing with. I forced myself back outside, even though I was shaking. The creatures were gone. Only deep gouges in the ground remained. I followed their tracks until they vanished beneath debris. I radioed for backup. The radio went silent, permanently. I raced back inside, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might tear through my chest. In the hallway, something darted across the dim corridor. My hand shook as I raised my pistol and fired 3 rounds. The creature collapsed with a wet thud. I stared at the body, pale skin, limbs too long for its frame, a head too large. Nausea hit me hard, and I turned away. I tried to call it in, but no one answered. Then the intercom crackled, and a distorted voice came through. It said, I was not authorized to engage and must stand down. I could not believe what I was hearing. I backed away, pistol still raised as footsteps approached. I ducked into a supply closet, pressed my back against the cold wall, and heard the unseen approach. Bullet casings hit the floor outside, quieter and more precise than my shots. Realizing I was expendable, I slipped out the back exit and ran toward the tree line. Bullets pinged off metal around me, but I kept moving until the sky turned pink with dawn. At the border crossing, I walked through with a new alias, a new face, and a ticket home. I changed my name, sold everything I owned, and kept moving. Now, every time I close my eyes, I see those creatures and the way they looked at me with cold, knowing eyes. I was certain I would have died that night if I had obeyed orders. I will never speak of what I saw, because nobody would believe me, and because if I do, they will find me.